got a really good system going, I feel, with the 2 cows. One that's milking and one that's pregnant, and they just got into a really lovely routine where there's no calves. This is my first time having no calves in the summertime. And when I take them in from the place where they were yesterday, and maybe I've made a new little pen for them, some in another fresh spot, and I take them in where I milk them, and where there's salt, there's water, there's a bit of hay, and while I just do my morning routine, they're waiting for me, and then I go and milk, and then I just take them, the leader on a leash, and just take them to the fresh spot. And they just love routine, and so do I. So beautiful. So this is another little carnivore video. We're going to make some ghee. So just show you my soured cream. So I've got my Wonder machine ready, which is really handy when you're making butter. It's just very fast. But it's actually quite an art to make butter, which you need before you can make your ghee. So let's just have a look at this. This is fermented, or this is cultured cream. And I actually whipped it yesterday. So it's soured cream. It's soured with acidophilus. And it was whipped because I was going to, yeah, you can just thicken it that way. And if you keep whipping it, of course, it's going to turn into butter. And this smells really delicious. And you can use this. Actually, when I was doing the ketogenic diet, I ate heaps of this with some soured fruit or some berries. So this was really my yogurt, sour cream. I just loved it. But now I'm having much less. So this is just... I'm not really having so much milk at the moment, so I'm going to make this into butter and ghee. So I have sort of bits and pieces because I collect the cream at different times. So this is also soured cream and also soured with acidophilus. Just have a taste. And really, the souring process you don't really need when you're making ghee because it's going to be heated anyway. It's mainly really if you want the butter. But as time goes by, I think I'm going to just be eating this cream. A few heaps of this cream because all the butter's in this cream. So this is another batch which has actually become a little bit yeasty. You can sort of see the yeast on the top there. And this doesn't matter at all when it's for ghee. I mean, unless it's really bad. So I'll just have it. It smells fine when you stir it around. The yeast will always be on the top. And when you stir it in, the probiotics, they kill the yeast. So So let's see if we're going to just make both butter and ghee. But we'll start off with the butter. So what I do is I pour it into this machine. And the thing is, as I said, it is a bit of an art because it mustn't be too cold, then it won't whip. And you don't want it too hot either. So I pour it in here. And I've got this blade in, this plastic blade, which is not the knife. I think that works really well. This one. So beautiful because it's just all full of all these amazing vitamins, minerals, fats, all these really, really healing fats. So in it goes. And I have a feeling this is warm enough because it's not, I've had it in a sort of a coolish place, but not in the fridge. So I'm pretty sure it's warm enough. And also that the fact of how sour it is also has an effect on how quick it will what do you call it, turn into butter. I can't remember the word. So this is pretty sour and it's not real cold. So let's give it a go. Just like that. And I'll just let it go and I'll come back when I can see something's happening. See you in a sec. So now you can, it's been 2 minutes. You can see something's happening now, it's thickening now. Sometimes I just put it on a bit high. And if it's nothing's happening, I'll take some really warm water and pour into it. Just half a cup, something like that. And in old times they would sit with those buckets, big buckets with the stick in, and they would sit and churn. And sometimes it just wouldn't go, and they had all these different beliefs on, yeah, some days were better than others for making butter. And also Rudolf Steiner, he has, I mean, the whole thing of just the whole, the energy of the earth, what's happening, it affects everything. The cycle of the moon, and also when you're making cheese, it has an effect on cheese making, on bread making. So fascinating. So I just put a bit of hot water in just because I'm impatient. And that sort of makes just a few of the warmth will make some of the butter start, just some of the butter molecules start to gather. So all these molecules, fat molecules, they're coming together so that the fat is combined with each other, so the small molecules become large. So once one has started, then it will make all the other molecules do it. And sometimes it's just so tricky, it gets too warm, so you have to put some icy cold water into it. So it is a little bit tricky. So I'll just give it a few more minutes. Here we go, now you can see it. See how it's going lumpy? So it's nearly there. So now it's separated. Beautiful. Smells gorgeous. So I'll just remove a bit of the mess. And what you can do is simply see, when you're going to have a lot of fat in your diet, you're not going to use the buttermilk. This is the buttermilk coming out here. So you can just put it in some container, give it to the dog or chickens. So it's just a completely fat-free yogurt in a way. It's very traditional to drink it in Denmark. And what you can do, if you don't really want to use the buttermilk so much for drinking, just pour cold water in. And get it pretty cold. You can feel it's quite warm, the butter. This is real spring butter. The first grasses, because the grasses came so late this year. So it's been hay. I've been using hay for so long. Oi, that was a warm one. You can really just rinse it like this a couple of times. Try not to get too much into the sink because it's just so greasy. And just take it back. Give it another go. Do this a couple of times, and it's because the longer you want to keep it, the more you have to do this. If you're just making ghee, you don't have to do this very much. So this is just fine. You can use one of those scrapers. And if I can't get it all off, which I can't, I might put it into the pot where I'm making the ghee, so it'll just melt off this. So it's funny how ghee is so healing. It's one of the best fats to use when you're cooking, when you're frying, because it has a very high smoking point. But it's also very nutritious because although it's heated, just like the tallow, it's full of these fatty acids and also vitamins which can tolerate the heat. So the vitamins, many of the vitamins are still there. So it's very amazing, but of course raw butter has many more nutrients. I mean, that's obvious. So I'm really into the raw fats. I mean, everything raw is just like the cells of the body. The body really understands the raw things. It's so simple for the body to handle. Just press. You can use these. You're actually not supposed to use your hands because you have these acids in your hands that, yeah, affect the butter. But I don't care. So in old times they'd use these wooden ones, and because wood is actually very sterile, it has antifungal, anti-parasitic properties, just like the wooden cutting boards. You really shouldn't use plastic, I believe. Use wood because it's a very pure material. But so many things are plastic now. So just get it out of it here. Wait, no. That was not very nice. That was a bit disgusting. So there's some in here too. Get that out. So it's just so I mean, when you want this sort of food, to eat the sour cream, I think that's really the way to go because it's so simple. You scoop off the cream, you ferment it with acidophilus or some other probiotic, or just naturally ferment it. If you don't have too much yeast in your home, yeast flying in the air, because they will go and affect it, and just to eat it. It's so simple. But it is good to have, yeah. Good to have butter for some things, and ghee. So here we have our lot, and for ghee you don't salt it, but for making butter you salt it. I'll just show you what I've just recently found out. So apparently when you're making cheese and butter, all these things that are fermented, you want them fermented, it's actually quite important to use the right salt. And I've never really bothered about this, but I can see what it's about. This is Himalaya salt, and it's a rock salt, millions of years old, from Pakistan, and it does not contain iodine. This is sea salt from the Atlantic Ocean, which we use most because that's also much cheaper. This costs about 4 times as much when you have it powdered like this. So this contains a little bit of iodine, and the iodine will actually inhibit the culture, the acidophilus, the cultures in the butter, and they are actually what keep the butter, the cultures. So it's best to actually add Himalaya salt to your butter and your cheese, not the Atlantic sea salt. So, but for the ghee we don't use salt. So here we go. We'll use this for ghee. And we'll use this for butter. And what you just do, I don't measure, but I think it would be about half a teaspoon of salt for a lot like this. So maybe like that. Just put it on and just fold it in. And it will really spread. Now it's very warm now, so it's pretty sort of melting quite a lot. But it will spread through the butter So in it goes. Scrape off the last bits. It's good not to fear bacteria because we want all these bacteria that's all over the place. It makes us healthy. So here's our butter. And of course it's best not to fry this, so use it for putting on something. Maybe just on some, just put a spoonful of butter on your meat. If you're just having the carnivore, on a piece of fish or something, just put a knob of butter on so it doesn't get so heated. And here comes our ghee. So that's unsalted butter.